Hey guys, it's Carla. Today I'm working on a canvas panel with acrylic paint. This is white, golden sunset, flamenco red, admiral blue, and burnt umber. Anything close to that will work, or you can make up your own colors. Alright, so I'm going to start with, I'm going to use my flat hog bristle brush just to get this very loose and maybe a little choppy texture. So I'm going to start with the boat. I want to keep this very rough and textured. All right, now I'll go to maybe this round brush. And put in some highlights. So I'm just being very carefree with this. Now anywhere that you want it really darker than the rest, blue is a good color to do that with, because blue kind of signifies shadow in a painting. It's getting a little dry. I'm going to pick up some water. Okay, now I'll come back and highlight the boat later. But while it dries, I'm going to go ahead and start on, let's see, maybe I'll go ahead and do the water. So I'm going to switch to a different brush. Just maybe this flat one. If you're working on a larger surface, then obviously you'll need a larger brush, but this is a pretty small canvas, so I can use a tiny one. So back here I see some water. I'm not worried a lot about these outlines because I can paint back over them. I just want to get some color back there in the water. And then with a larger flat brush, I'll do this foreground. I've got my paint really watered down because it gets into the crevices better, like the tooth of the canvas. So you can either use water or glazing liquid or something to thin it down to where it will flow into those areas. Now I just want to come in with movement. I'm kind of making my brush go in different angles, like the water's choppy. Now I want some really dark areas, so I'm going to add some brown to the blue and get kind of a dark shadow color for the boat. It's not like a reflection, obviously, because this is choppy water, but it would make the water darker right here. Okay. Now with my hog bristle brush, I'm going to go ahead and put in my, actually I'm going to go ahead and start on the sky. So right around Jesus, I want it to be light. So that's where my light source is coming from. Actually, that's where all of our light sources comes from. But in the painting, this is where it's going to be the brightest. And again, I'm not worried about the outline because I'm going to come back and paint over it. So I just want to gradually get warmer as I go out. And I want to keep it choppy, and this hog bristle brush helps me do that. So it's kind of a gradual blend, but it's choppy at the same time, so it's not like a smooth blend, if that makes any sense. Now while it's still wet, I'm going to rinse my brush and come back in, starting at the lightest area, and just kind of dab at it and go out further and further. And that helps with that gradual gradation of color. All right, now I want some of this blue. So I'm going to go ahead and put down some blue and then come back with water and bring it on into the red. And now I'll rinse my brush and dry it and come back and kind of bring those together, and you can come back with your other color and help to kind of blend it that way. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I want some of that dark blue, and then wet brush, and then come back with this shade. All right, now I can move on to my mountain back there, and I'm going to use that same flat hog bristle brush, and I just want kind of a purplish mountain. But it's off in the distance, so I want it to be light, and keep in mind that acrylic paint dries darker than what it is when you put it on, so go a little bit lighter than what you want it to dry. I just want this to be kind of choppy and textured, like it's maybe a rocky like mountain. Okay. All right, now I'm going to start on their heads. So I need a small brush for that. Maybe a small round brush. So right now I just want to get all the hair in. And you can determine which way they're looking by how the space you leave for their face. And a lot of these you're not really going to be able to tell what's going on because it's so loose and nondescript. We don't want to get detailed at all with these, with the disciples anyway. Not even detailed with Jesus, but a little more so than with these, because he is the focal point. think I've got all the faces. I'm only seeing 9 disciples, so maybe the other 3 are on the other side of him. That's what we're going to say anyway. Alright, so now I'm going to come up with some colors for the clothes. Maybe some of them will be kind of reddish. Again, you can't tell really what's going on with any of them, but you just want to get all of the canvas covered with color. So, I mean, all of the, like all of their clothes and their faces and stuff, and hair. You don't want to cover all of the canvas because I think it looks good to have little streaks, I mean little specks of the background showing through, but you do want to get everything painted. So let's see. You can just kind of make up colors as you go. Okay, I think this right here is part of the boat. And then the oars. All right, now I want a face color. This is a very loose, just kind of dabbing in their faces. Okay. Now I'm going to work on his. Actually, I'm going to, while I've got this little brush, I'm going to kind of add some highlights to my water back here. Alright, so I think I'm going to have his robe, at least the base color, be this kind of purplish shade. So I just added some water to it to thin it down. And I think this right here is more of a, it's not part of the robe, it's something that he's wearing over the robe, so I'm gonna paint it a different color. And warm it up a little bit. I'm just putting in some creases, folds. Okay, now I'm going to switch to a liner brush. And put in some creases and folds in his robe. So I want those to be a little bit darker than the base color. And I've got to get his hand in there. Don't like the shape of his hair. Let's see. Okay, now I've got to come back to the boat and the water. I'm going to do the boat first with, I'll just use this round brush. So I want to highlight it. I'm just going to kind of skip it, let my brush skip around. And now I'm going to come back with a stiff bristled fan brush and tap in some of my water, which I don't want to be bright white. Maybe something like this. So the water is really choppy right here. So I'm not using the shape of my brush because I don't want that crescent shape in there. So I'm tapping in with the corner of my brush and turning it different angles so that I don't get patterns in my water. Now I can go a little brighter. Tap in. Not as much as the previous color because you don't want to cover all of it up, but this is just highlights for that. Highlights for the highlights. Same thing here, just highlights for the highlights for the highlights. Okay, I think I want to go back to my mountain and do something to it. I'll just use a flat hog bristle brush and maybe down toward the base of the mountain. Put in some darker texture. And then I'm going to add in some warm color to it. Especially over here where the light would be hitting it more. Now if I catch this while it's still wet, I can come back and rinse my brush and come back with a damp brush and just kind of bring it all together. So I've completely changed the color of my mountain. Let's see what else I want to do to it. Maybe just kind of brighten it up a touch. Alright, now I'm going to come back and put some, I guess, depth and dimension in their clothes. And at this point you can just kind of make up what might be going on, but it keeps it from looking too flat. So now I can come back with a liner brush and put some highlights on his robe. If you're not comfortable using a liner brush, I'm not saying avoid it completely, but you can use a toothpick. But I do suggest that you kind of practice with your liner brush, and because it really comes in handy. Just want to, I don't want bright white for this part. Alright guys, I think that does it. Hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, thanks for watching. God bless you.